Did you know that this career in Imola could define the fate of the 2025 season? With the schedules already confirmed and a table of positions in red live, are you ready to understand why this Grand Prix could be the most critical moment of the year? Imola. Only the name evokes respect. It is not a simple circuit, it is a living relic of Formula One. Every time the category visits the Enzo E. Dino Ferrari Autodrome, it does so with an emotional load that goes far beyond sports. It is a place where history breathes from each curve, where the tragedy melts with glory, and where each lap encloses an almost mystical tension. In 2025, Imola is not only the headquarters of the 7th championship race, but the starting point of the demanding European triplet, a stage that traditionally separates the true contenders from passenger applicants. Emilia Romagna 2025 will be held from May 16th to 18th, and arrives just after the Miami GP, serving as a hinge between the American Tour and the European season. The structure of the weekend will follow the classic format: 2 free training sessions on Friday, a third on Saturday followed by the classification and the race on Sunday. No sprint format without alterations, only pure Formula One. The Imola track, with its 4,909 kilometers, will require maximum precision during the 63 scheduled laps, which will add a total of 309,267 kilometers. A distance that may seem familiar, but that becomes a technical and emotional marathon. The layout is narrow, sinuous, and punishing. An error in Ac Minerali, in Ravazza, or in the high variant is not forgiven. There is no space for improvisations. And if we talk about drama, we also find it in heaven. The climate in Imola is notoriously unpredictable at this time of year. The conditions can change in minutes, from a dry asphalt to one soaked, from a strategy of 2 stops to absolute chaos. That uncertainty is part of the charm. A classic circuit with modern variables, where the margins are so thin that the slightest temperature change on the track can overturn the established order. This Grand Prix will also have a notable global projection, and therefore it is essential to know the schedules for each region. In the United Kingdom, the race will be Sunday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, just at tea time, ideal time for British fans to see Norris, Russell, or Hamilton fight per thousandth. In the United States, time differences make the race begin early, 9 a.m. on the East Coast, 8 a.m. in the center, and a challenging 6 a.m. for fans on the West Coast. Canadian fans, sharing time zone, will have the same appointment as Americans. In South Africa, the event will be enjoyed at 3 p.m., a perfect hour for a vibrant Sunday afternoon. While in Australia, it will be at 11 p.m., turning this race into an almost intimate night experience for the most passionate followers on the other side of the world. Imola is also the circuit where the margin of improvement and adaptation becomes crucial. Those teams that come from loose results in Miami will find their redemption or their sentence here. And the most interesting thing is that, at this point in the championship, the letters are already partially on the table. The positions, points, strategies, and technical developments accumulated so far directly influence what we will see on the track. It is not an isolated race. It is the inevitable extension of everything that the teams have done or stopped doing in the previous 6 weekends. In short, Imola is not simply the 7th race of the season. It is the return home for many European teams, the beginning of the true battle for the championship, and most likely, the natural filter that will begin to clarify who is really in a position to fight until the end. From here, there is no room for excuses. Each point, each stop in boxes, each tire choice will count more than ever. Because after Imola, the season enters its most ruthless phase. Are you prepared for what is coming? Imola is a breakdown. It is not just a phrase with dramatic weight. It is a tangible reality in the development of any Formula Championship one. At this point in the calendar, the teams can no longer afford to experience or improvise. The margin of error is non-existent. Each decision has deep consequences. And this career, due to its strategic position and historical context, becomes a determining event. The points added here not only serve to climb positions in the classification, they also modify the internal narrative of each team. Trust, pressure, development, future investments. Everything begins to redefine itself from what happens this Sunday at the Enzo E. Dino Ferrari Autodrome. In this classic track, as technical as emotional, the tensions of the 3 teams that dominate the beginning of the 2025 season are going to cross: McLaren, Red Bull, and Ferrari. Each arrives with a different story, but all with the same objective: consolidate or recover ground. McLaren, with a car-refined car, has shown a record that reminds of the great epics of technical domination. His leadership is no accident. The Woking team has managed to capitalize every opportunity and minimize mistakes, something that in modern Formula One is more valuable than having the fastest car in a return. But Imola is territory where favorites can fall and lagging can emerge. Red Bull, wounded but dangerous, arrives in a complex state. The RB21 has not been the expected missile. It suffers in technical sections, the traction is inconsistent, and the braking stability has been questioned. To this is added the media and sports noise generated by the surprise replacement of Liam Lawson by Yuki Tsunoda. It is not just a change of names. It is a reflection that internally, the team is reacting from nervousness, not from control. And that, in Imola, can leave expensive. The pressure on Verstappen is bigger than ever. He is the only stable pillar in a team with internal fissures and decisions questioned. On the other hand, there is Ferrari, Imola's emotional symbol. Here it is not just about adding points. Running in front of Tifosi is an experience that can motivate or crush. Charles Leclerc has had moments of brilliance and expensive errors. Hamilton, still adapting to SF25, showed in China flashes of its best version. If there is a place where Ferrari can light the spark that returns the prominence, it is here. But that spark needs material to turn on. Strategy without errors, decisions in milliseconds, and a car that responds with surgical precision. Motivation is not enough. Perfect execution is needed. In addition, Imola route is ideal for creating sports climax. It is a track that does not allow you to advance easily. Classifications are critical, and boxes strategies can make or undo a career. Any safety car, any sudden rain can completely redefine order. This is the type of circuit where individual talent is mixed with tactical audacity, and where the one who knows when not risking. Therefore, this race will not only be a battle of chronometers, it will be a mental war between strategists, engineers, and pilots. And the most fascinating, at this time of the year, each team has already played some of their cards. Some have spent important development tokens. Others still save crucial updates. Imola is also the place where you begin to reveal who opted well in the initial design of the car and who is forced to reinvent itself on the fly. If a team is wrong here, you will not have enough time to recover before Monaco or Barcelona. It is not a simple mistake. It is potentially a death sentence for your aspirations to the title. For all this, Emilia Romagna's Grand Prix is not only the 7th calendar race. It is the first great real filter of the championship. Here begins the true world championship. The pressure. That of hot decisions. That of tiny margins and giant consequences. And everyone's eyes will be put in those 63 pure tension turns, where some teams will find redemption and others will only confirm their fall. Now the big stage is mounted, the cards are on the table, and the engine's ready to roar. But the real question is not just who will win in Imola. It is what that victory will imply. Because this Grand Prix is not an isolated event. It is a strategic piece in chess of the 2025 season. Here it is not just about adding points. It is about defining narratives, influencing internal equipment decisions, setting the pattern for future updates, and above all, keeping championship aspirations alive. And you, as an amateur, have a privileged seat to witness this inflection moment. Will it be Verstappen capable of being imposed with a Red Bull under internal pressure, surrounded by changes and with a car that still does not convince all paths? Does McLaren consolidate his leadership with a blow of authority, demonstrating that it is no longer a promise but a certainty? Or Ferrari, driven by the mystique of running at home, will finally combine emotion, strategy, and performance to return to the podium at the top? Those are the real questions, and all that will be defined in a few curves in Emilia Romagna. Now is your turn. We do not want you to be a passive spectator. We want to know your reading, your hypothesis, your prediction. Who will dominate the European triplet? What pilot will give the most important blow in this first act of the Continental Tour? Do you think Hamilton will find the rhythm to challenge Norris and Verstappen? Or will it be Leclerc who finally recover its #1 contender status in Ferrari? Leave your opinion in the comments. We want to listen to you. And if you do not agree with what has been said, even better. The discussion is what makes this sport great. Subscribe if you haven't done it yet, because what is coming is no less intense. Monaco is just around the corner. A circuit where margins are millimeter and history weighs more than ailerons. And then Barcelona, the par excellence development laboratory. But before that, everything is defined here in Imola. And we want you to live with us, with the deepest technical analysis, the most passionate narrative, and the most rigorous monitoring of everything that happens both on and off the track.